This week, we will start talking about mammals. Of all the animals we have studied, mammals are the ones that you're probably the most familiar with, especially if you have a pet cat or dog. There are characteristics of all mammals have in common. These common characteristics is what makes a species classified as an animal. There are lots of different animals that are mammals, and we will learn about these differences as we learn about the different orders. Mammals are warm-blooded. All mammals have fur or hair that cover them, even whales and dolphins. The heart of mammals is just like yours. It has four chambers and pump oxygen to the muscles. Mammals have different teeth depending on their diet. Mammals have large brains that help them to communicate with each other, hunt, and survive. Sweat is important for cooling mammals because of the sweat evaporating off the skin. All mammals sweat. Dogs even have sweat glands on their backs. A lion's teeth look different than a horse's teeth because a lion eats meat and a horse eats plants, so their teeth reflect their diet. Lions need to rip and tear meat while horse they need to grind up grain. Mammals' digestive system are also special to their diet. A cow has four stomachs because grain is hard to digest, but a fox only has one stomach because the small birds and mammals that are eaten break down quickly. Horses have a lot of incisors to grind up grains. Lions have large canines to rip and tear prey. Bicuspids are used to break down the food once it is ripped off the prey. The bicuspids are behind the canine teeth. Molars are the back teeth that are used to grind and crush up food. Baleen whales have a baleen, which is a thin plate on the roof of the mouth to strain food from water. All mammals have microorganisms and bacteria in their gut to help break down food. You might have heard the saying, a cow chewing their cud. Cows eat grass and then throw it up and re-chew the grass or the cud. Plant cell walls are made of cellulose, which is hard for the body to process or break down. So since this is the only food for herbivores, they have to re-chew the cellulose to break it down. Then their waste fertilizes the grass, so more grass grows. Birds and mammals are both endothermic. This allows these species to live on every continent of the world, but some mammals only live in the ocean. Being endothermic helps these ocean mammals be successful in all oceans. Mammals, like birds, need a lot of oxygen to feed their muscles. Remember, birds needed oxygen for flight. Mammals need oxygen for running and walking. Elephants walk 9 miles a day on average. That is like 20,000 steps a day for you. Some elephants have been recorded walking up to 50 miles a day. Mammals have air sacs called alveoli. Gas exchange, or the swap of oxygen and carbon dioxide, occurs in the alveoli. Remember, all of your cells in your body need oxygen. Mammals are the same. Mammals' cells need oxygen to think, move, and complete everyday tasks. Mammals' nervous systems are designed to help them respond to stress. Remember that stress triggers the fight or flight response. A zeal of zebra have this stress situation when they see a pride of lionesses. The zebra decide to run or stand closer so they look like one giant zebra. Mammals have the largest brain among animals that have a backbone. This is one reason that zookeepers are able to teach gorillas how to use sign language. These large brains allow them to mimic motions when they are rewarded for the repeat motion, like a dog learning to sit. All mammals use their five senses for survival. One scientist, named Pavlov, did an experiment where he rang a bell before feeding his dog. The dogs learned that when they heard the bell sound, they would eat. Their bodies adjusted to this over time. When they heard the bell, their mouth would fill with saliva, and they would watch for their bowls to be filled with food. The dogs' five senses began to work together when they heard the bell. This would be like me describing your favorite food. You would see it in your mind, smell, and taste it just because of the description. Now think, if you were an animal and you had to hunt for food, these thoughts would motivate you to capture your prey. Bats use echolocation because they live in dark caves and are nocturnal. Dolphins and porpoises use echolocation to find food that is hidden under the sand on the ocean floor. Echolocation is used kind of like eyes to see things. Mammals' offsprings are very important to maintain species. Some babies take a long time to develop inside the mother, like an elephant takes about 2 years. Monotremes like platypus lay eggs. Some marsupials like kangaroos carry their underdeveloped babies in pouches, where placentals give birth to live young. A duck-billed platypus lays 1 to 2 eggs. That sounds like it should be a bird or a reptile, but the platypus is covered with fur and provides milk for their young, so it's classified as a mammal. A fun fact is that monotremes sweat milk. Marsupial babies are born premature. If they were humans, they would have to stay in the hospital for several months until their lungs developed. However, this is how marsupials are supposed to be born. This allows them to crawl into their mother's pouch and develop completely. A baby kangaroo called a joey will actually stay in their mother's pouch for nearly a year. At this point, they barely fit in the pouch, and the mother has to kindly kick them out because they are no longer needed to be carried around. Most mammals are placentals. This refers to live birth. Mammals like whales have calves in the ocean, but they need to help them get to the surface right away to take a breath. Ocean mammals have lungs and breathe from the air, unlike sharks that get oxygen from the water. There are only a handful of monotreme species. The platypus is a, is actually poisonous, which is very painful to humans. The platypus has poison spurs on their hind legs, which is a means of defense. They also have really low metabolism, which decreases their body temperature. You might recall that mono means one. The monotreme gets its name from having a cloaca, which all waste passes out. You will find monotremes in Australia and New Zealand. A platypus has a paddle-shaped tail like a beaver and a furry body like an otter, a flat bill and webbed feet like a duck. When Britons first saw the platypus, they thought it was two animals sewed together. They have thick, dense fur to keep them warm in cold water. Because of their webbed feet, they walk on their toes. This protects the webbing but does make them look odd walking. Anteaters consume 35,000 ants a day. They collect the ants with their long tongue and swallow them whole. On Naked and Afraid, the people eating ants say that they taste like lemon, so maybe that wouldn't be so bad. There are 4 species of anteaters. Anteaters are loners, but the mother will carry her offspring on her back for up to 6 months. Anteaters are rather chill, but they have been known to fight off pumbas when threatened, so it's better to leave them to their own space. Marsupials get their name from their pouch, used to carry young. Smaller kangaroos are called wallabies. Most marsupials are nocturnal, so their sense of smell or olfactory and hearing is very important. A wombat is one type of marsupial. They have rodent-like teeth and long claws for digging in the mud. The female has a backwards-facing pouch so she doesn't fill the pouch with dirt when she digs. They also have square poop. A newborn kangaroo, called a joey, can weigh as little as 0.03 ounces. There are 16 ounces in a pound. Sometimes when animals are in captivity or live in a zoo, the mother will reject the offspring. This is what happened to the joey in the picture. The zoo staff then cares for the joey and will wrap it in blankets to mimic the pouch. Opossums are the only marsupial we have in North America. Opossums play dead when faced with extreme stress. They will fall on their side, tense up, their tongue will even hang out of their mouth, and the best sell for the show is the death smell that they secrete. Dogs, cats, rabbits, mice, elephants, and capybara are just a few of the placental animals. These animals are going to care for their young and even teach them hunting and other survival lessons before the young reach maturity. Some of the placentals will live with a family their entire lives, while others become loners once reaching maturity. Next week, we are going to learn the 18 orders of placentals. Most of these animals you are familiar with and are found in this group.